Welcome to Two Giant Goofballs, a New York Giants podcast. Are you a goofball that loves Giants football? If so, sit back and relax as we talk about the team that both excites and frustrates us so much. And now, here are your goofball hosts, Drew and Rob.
Welcome, fellow goofballs, the Two Giant Goofballs, the New York Giants podcast. I am Drew, joined as always by...
I'm me, I'm Rob. Let's talk about some divisional games here, hey?
Oh, yeah, some divisional games. And we do have a little bit of Giants news to go over, but not too much. Because it's been kind of a quiet day there, except for the fact that Belichick's getting a second interview with the Falcons. Everybody thinks that's automatic. He's probably going to have a couple interviews. Let's yeah.
I'm sure.
So the big news with the Giants really is it's all a rumor really at this point there. Larry Izzo is rumored now to be on the Giants radar for special teams coordinator. Now, that's according to Jordan Raanan and Art Stapleton. So legit sources, good sources that I will trust when they say things. But while he's on the radar, there's no formal request right now for an interview. So therefore, if you're not requesting an interview, you're not very much on the radar. So until that happens, I'm not going to be too, excited about it because it would be a good hire overall. Izzo, of course, played from 96 to 2009, made 3 Pro Bowls, and was on the first team All-Pro as a special teamer back in 2004. He also won, of course, 3 rings by the Patriots. Could have been 4, but 2007, just someone ruined a perfect season. Just saying.
Oh, yeah.
I wonder who that was. After retiring, he was a special team coordinator with the Giants. Assistant special team coordinator, I should say, with the Giants from 2011 to 2015. Before joining the Texans as a special team coordinator at 16 and 17. He then joined the Seahawks as an assistant special team coordinator before becoming their regular special team coordinator in 2020 and ever since now. Of course, Izzo also played in New England during Dable's time there, so there may also be some overlap of, some relationship there at that point between those guys there. So the interesting thing is it does check the boxes. It's a former, special team coordinator with some experience. It's a guy that has experience with Dable. It's a guy who's a former Giant in some regard as well. That's all the boxes marked right there, guys.
Yeah.
That's
history and connections.
Exactly. So yeah, it's gonna be an interesting thing. If they bring him in, and it goes well, that could be the guy. So just keep an eye. Because if they bring him in, I wouldn't be surprised if 24 hours later you hear, "Hey, we've decided this is our guy." So,
Yeah,
alrighty,
you're not wrong.
Let's get into the games here. Before we do get into the games, though, guys, of course, it's time for Rob to go ahead and give his weekly update on where we're at as far as how we did in the picks last week and how we are in the season overall there.
Well, I guess we could do it with the season, but technically our season was over. Now we're in the playoffs.
Playoffs!
It's a little different.
Well, no. It's still the same season. It's still the same season.
I know, but it's a little different. Anyway, fine. Drew, let's start off with you.
Let's do it.
As we went straight up last week, you picked 3 correct.
Not very good.
No.
I'm going to say point blank myself. Not very good.
No, you went 50%. But you're still at 61.76 on the year because you have 168 on the season.
Yep.
You picked 4 against the spread.
That's not bad. I'll take that.
That's still pretty good there because,
that's
60%.
Yeah.
Which puts you at 134 on the year, leaving you at 49.26 for the season thus far. Or you could be at 66 if we start the postseason, but whatever.
No, it's the same season.
Yeah. You're over under, which you've been a clutch all year. You got 5.
5 out of 6, guys. Woo! I hope you picked my picks.
Which puts you at 136 on the year, which lifts you at exactly 50% on the year.
Now, keep in mind, again, guys, we do every single game. So
Yeah.
if you're above 50%, you're good. But those guys that are usually above 50% don't pick every damn game.
They'll pick like 4 to 5.
Yeah, we're picking every
Maybe.
goddamn game, guys.
And your trifecta, which is very hard to get. If you get 25% of the year, like you're golden, and in the betting world. But Drew, you got 2 right last week, which would have made you 30% on the week.
Now, don't be sad. Because 2 out of 6 ain't bad.
Which puts you at 63 in the year, which gave you 23.16% on the season, which is pretty clutch.
Again, we're picking every single one. I'll take it.
For myself, straight up last week, I had 4. That's 175 on the year. That's 64.34 on the season. And then I had 3 against the spread. It's like we did a little switcheroonie there.
We did.
Which puts me at 153 on the year, leaving me at 56.25 on the season.
Clutch.
My over-unders, I had 3. Putting me at 130 on the year, leaving me at 47.79 on the season. Womp. Not my strong suit this year. And my trifectas gave me 60. I had 1 giving me 60, gave me 22.06 on the season. So, Drew, you've been pretty good with that thus far.
Like I said, like the last couple weeks, the difference for us has been really the spread picks for you that are overall. So you've been clutch there, that's for damn sure. So let's see if I can keep on narrowing down, getting down your lead there, because I took what? I see I got 7. I took 3 spots away from you out of your 20-point lead there last week.
No, you took 1 away. Because you got 4 and I got 3.
Yeah, and then I got 2 extra on the over-unders, and I have 1 extra.
Oh, you're talking about the overall points. I thought you meant
yeah.
Gotcha.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
So,
I misunderstood that.
So, all right, let's get into this week here, guys. First up, we have the battle that I'm actually more curious about. I don't know if it's just a Texan thing, but this is the game that I'm more curious about than any other game, because I think this tells us a lot of what's going to happen in these playoffs as a whole. Yes. Texans at the Ravens. Texans are being given 9.5 points. The over/under is 43.5. Now the Ravens, though, have been literally down the stretch have been just absolutely amazing. You know, besides the game they rested their starters, we're not counting week 18. They rested their guys. Do that. Listen to what they did in these last couple games, guys. They beat the Dolphins 56-19. 56-19.
But also, the Dolphins were a house of cards. So
they beat the Niners. You want to call them a house of cards? 33-19.
No, I was calling the Dolphins a house of cards.
I'm just saying though, this is legit wins. Yeah. These are house of cards or not. The Dolphins are at least an average team. When you destroy
below average,
they're above average. They made the playoffs.
They made it. No, I'm saying they're a great team against terrible teams.
I understand, but I'm still saying
they had 1 win above a team.
Whenever you decimate a team that bad, you're doing something right. Again, they beat the Niners 33-19. They beat the Jaguars 23-7, and they beat the hottest team in the NFL besides them, the Rams, 37-31. They were 10-1 in the last 11 games prior to that last game that we're not counting.
Yeah,
that's pretty goddamn impressive, guys.
Those Ravens flew under the radar. They were very sneaky.
They really. I mean, if you think about it, people talk all about the Rams and how good they had been, but
there's just the Dolphins.
No, but I'm saying as far as the streak they went on. You know, you got 2 teams in the AFC that really went through a really good streak of their own. We're gonna get to one of them later on, but the Ravens, that's one. It's impressive. 10-1 is impressive, guys. Yes. On top of that, tight end Mark Andrews is practicing this week and may play.
That was their hopes.
I heard a report he actually made a really good jumping catch actually in practice. Even they were kind of like shocked he made it. Even
that was Harbaugh's thing the whole time when you put him on injury reserve. It's like he's probably going to play this season, and it was meant for the playoffs.
Now you're hearing a lot of analysts actually saying it's kind of a good thing that he was injured for a little bit because it gave Lamar the opportunity to force him to use guys like Zay Flowers and OBJ and those kind of guys a little more. And now that he comes back, now you add him as an element to that. And this offense is even better. Actually, even better. So the Ravens gave up 16.5 points per game this year. That's it. First in the NFL, guys. When you're number one in something, you're doing something right.
Sit at least.
Now, on top of that, they scored 28.4 points per game. That's third. So they're beating opponents by an average of 12 points, guys. This is not the Philadelphia Eagles.
No.
That's almost 2 touchdowns. That's how serious they were with winning. Like, that's legit. That's hard to There's hard to look at that and go, oh, well, here's where you can beat them. Here's where you can. We're gonna try anyway. Because one of the biggest things is the Ravens are always a good team. Lamar Jackson, though, has never shown up once in the playoffs, guys.
Yes, but he's also in the MVP talks currently.
He is, but he's had MVP before and did not show up in the postseason.
Yeah, he. I don't want to compare him to the Cowboys, but he's kind of a Dak-esque, if you will.
If you want to follow the QBR thing that ESPN shoves down our throats every single year, since the ESPN started doing QBR, he has the second worst postseason QBR, and they've been doing, I think it's like 2008. I think it's a stat I saw. I could be wrong 1 or 2 years. Yeah. I happened to see that when I was having dinner, actually, at California Pizza Kitchen.
Say it's at least 15 years.
Yeah. I mean, it's been a while. So that's not a good thing. And he's had a few seasons he's been in the playoffs. It's not like he had one bad game.
Yeah.
So that's going to be the big thing. But I'm telling you right now, I do think that this is the year that he plays legit in the postseason. I do think this is going to be different. And I don't know why. It's just a gut feeling I have. He's a better quarterback this year. He just is. The one issue he still has is sometimes with blitzes. But he's overall a stronger, better, legit quarterback.
He's definitely... They've definitely utilized his arm way more this year through the whole year than actually letting him run the ball like they've done in his past career. And I actually wouldn't be surprised. I mean, we'll talk about this too in the game. I wouldn't be surprised if you see Lamar throw under 225, 250, but he goes for like 80 yards rushing.
Oh, yeah. That's very, very possible.
Like, I kind of think they saved his health and his legs for the postseason. Get him to the playoffs.
Yeah,
and then let him do his thing.
That's 100% the case, and this is not the guy going anymore for 1,000 yards rushing like he has before. I mean, he's still at 800 yards. Don't get me wrong, but it's not like he's going crazy and getting 100-yard clips every single game in rushing. That's not what he does anymore. He's becoming an actual more of a pocket passer. I did say more of a pocket passer. He'll never be a pure pocket passer. And I mean that actually as a respect thing. You don't take away a very good part of his game, and running the ball is a very good part of his game. So,
yes.
Let's go over to what the Ravens don't do well, because there are things they don't do well, guys. It's not like this is a perfect team. There is no perfect team. Absolutely none. So their line does give up sacks. We talked about it before. Lamar Jackson sometimes has also issues with when he's blitzed overall, his QB completion percentage goes way down. He's just not the same quarterback. But the Lions has to be giving up sacks in 7.66% of pass attempts, which is 24th in the league. So, go for the sack, rush him, blitz him. But while you think that makes they should go ahead and rush Lamar Jackson more often, the Ravens also lead the league in rush play percentage there at 50.28. So doing that may also allow big runs. So you have to be cautious on that. You want to go after the quarterback, but you don't want to give up that 25-yard run because you blitzed everybody. There was no second layer of defense to stop a running back.
Correct.
That's the issue you run into. So it's almost like you want to play like an RB spy and blitz.
Almost. It's like
almost.
You know what you're talking about there.
It doesn't quite work as well with it when you're doing it on a running back that is a quarterback, because then you go, okay, that big fat center, you go stop him. He's the spy. You have to move that around each play who it's going to be,
Correct.
But it's like I said, it's an interesting way of looking at it there as a potential way of stopping him. Now what's interesting is, as I say that, as far as the rush percentage there, the Texas defense allows 3.5 yards per carry, which is just second in the league this season. So yeah, they're very good at stopping the run. So this is very much a strength versus strength kind of matchup there. But on top of that, now there's more kinks in the armor for the Ravens there. Their defense allows 62.58% completion percentage. That's 30th in the league. That being said, though, they only allow a league best 5.1 yards per pass attempt. So teams are mostly dinking and dunking because long passes are being covered very well.
Yes. The secondary downfield has been fantastic.
Exactly. That's what they do. Stop the big play. That's what their defense is all about. And their defense also allows 4.5 yards per carry, which is 25th. But they also only have a 37.42 rush percentage against them, which is third best in the league. And that's because teams are playing from behind. Let's call it what it is.
Yes.
But what that also tells you, though, is if the Texans want to have a shot at winning this game, and I say that because let's be very frank, the Ravens are by far the favorite. We talked about it. It was a 9.5 point spread a minute ago. I mean, that's a big spread difference. If they want to have a chance, the deep shots probably won't be there. Screen plays, slants, hook routes, those are the things that have to be utilized. But they also cannot abandon the run.
No,
they can't do it because that's how you're going to beat the Ravens. If you're going to, by running the ball down their throat, doing short passes.
A lot of tight end play needs to happen here as well.
It sounded perverted.
Oh, I know what I said. No, all seriousness, like Schultz, if you want a chance to win, like Schultz needs to show up.
You know what? As him being a pending free agent, we talked about yesterday too, that's a very good opportunity for him to showcase his skills and get his name on some maps he might not be on right now.
Get a payday.
Yeah, exactly. Get a few extra mil in that payday there because he's already going to get one either way. But yeah, like I said, it's not impossible. I don't want to make it seem impossible, but it's one of those games that either the Ravens are going to get their shit together finally, and Lamar Jackson's going to play better in the postseason, or they're going to be out in the first game and the Texans will somehow win it. That's how I look at it.
Yeah. When it came to choosing this game, it was
it's what it boils down to. Do you trust Lamar Jackson to get his stuff together?
It's also, do you trust that defense? It's been pretty damn good all year to be pretty damn good.
See, that to me is not even a doubt. I think both defenses will do good. And part of the reason I like the Ravens in this is because of the fact that CJ Stroud is a rookie quarterback, and he's had some trouble against some of the better defenses in this league because of the fact he's a rookie. There's a learning curve, no matter what anybody wants to say, no matter how great CJ Stroud has been. And let's be honest, not only is he the offensive rookie of the year this year, but he probably gets some consideration for MVP.
I mean, you say that, but he also just beat the Browns in a stopping fashion.
In all fairness,
Granted,
the Browns
Browns
also
aren't.
beat themselves to a certain degree.
I was going to say, also the Browns aren't that good on the road as their defense, and Flacco threw 2 pick sixes in a row, which didn't help their cause. But just saying, I mean, last week made rookie quarterback playoff like history, which is a crazy stat too. Like, there's the most amount of rookies, I think, in NFL history going into the divisional round this week.
Yeah, this is a pretty crazy one here. But yeah, I'm gonna trust a team that's been to the playoffs multiple times. I'm going to go ahead and trust that Lamar Jackson's gonna get his shit together. And I'm gonna trust that while I like the Texans to have a bright future with CJ Stroud, and it's an amazing season they've already had. Just even to get into the playoffs after having the second worst team,
division with a rookie quarterback.
Yeah,
which won me money, by the way.
Granted, it's a weak division, but still.
And listen, Jaguars just gave it up.
They did. They did. I was going to make a joke there, but I was trying to think of one very good. It's going to involve a slut or something. But either way, I did. I messed it up. But yeah, it's like I'm going to trust the Ravens that they get their stuff together. I'm going to trust them to be the veteran team and get it done. So Ravens to win, I'm going to say they're going to cover that spread because they've been beating teams on an average of 14 games. That's like 14 points almost. The 12 and a half points we said it was, something like that.
Yeah, they've been in dominant fashion there, especially. Yeah. Anyway, finish your under, and I'll give my 2 cents because I'm
okay. And then I'm going to go over on the points because 43.5, I think it's a little low because I do think that the Ravens will probably score what they've usually been doing, plus something. They'll probably get like 30 points, something like that. The Texans probably get around like 20 points. It'd be like a 10-point kind of. It's going to be very close to that spread pick. Don't get me wrong. Like I know when we talked before the game, before we started recording here, you were kind of like I was kind of on the fence on. I was too. This is the game I was kind of the fence on which way to go.
This was probably the hardest one to pick the spread for me.
Yeah.
And yeah, Drew. I mean, we all know that you don't live in the tri-state area anymore. That you don't live by East Rutherford. You're down there in beautiful Florida, living it up in beautiful temperatures right now. But
it's cold right now. Okay, it's cold.
Yeah, it was cold. It was 17 when I walked the dog this morning.
Ice cold. Let's see. Let me see where I'm at here. I'm gonna use my phone. Let's see weather. It is 58 degrees here, guys.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cute. Yeah. So we got 58. Snow Monday night. I sent you the picture after we got off the podcast, and that snow never left because it's just been frigid, and the high's been like 33, 34 the past 4 days.
You should move somewhere tropical.
I know it's happening. There's another snowstorm coming in. So when they go to play on Saturday, it's going to be frigid. It is going to be freezing. There's going to be snow. You got this rookie quarterback that is used to playing in the dome, used to playing in the heat, is going to come up to Baltimore. And this is what made my deciding factor because I thought the Ravens were going to win this game. And granted, I want the CJ Stroud story to come through. But that was why I took the Ravens in this spread is that rookie quarterbacks have historically fallen apart going to the playoffs. Granted, he looked fantastic last week. But now you're putting him on the road again. You're putting him in the outside, in the elements.
On the road again.
You're putting him in the elements against a great defense and an offense that's been dominant all year. So I had to take the Ravens in the spread in this one, which I really, really want to take. If it was in the dome, I probably would have took Texans to cover. But I'm also taking the under because it is going to be frigid and it's going to be more of a run fest. And they're going to want to throw the ball. It's just not going to fly the way it should be when it's going to be about 25 degrees in Baltimore.
Yeah, I like that. It's gonna be an interesting game. I really do think this is gonna be a game that really has a lot to do with what's going to happen the rest of the way.
Yes.
Because the Ravens are potentially the strongest team in the AFC. But again, they haven't played well in the postseason the last 10 years or so. So it's like, do you trust that?
They haven't played well since their last Super Bowl.
Yeah, basically, that's what it's been. So, yeah. All right.
Up next. You want me to take this one here? We got the Packers.
Go for it.
We got the Packers going into San Francisco, playing in another first seed game, playing against the Niners. And once again, talk about a dominant spread. It's a 9.5 spread. Of course, the Niners are favorite.
The Niners
being the
are
first
9.5 point spreads.
Oh, they are. That's why you got the because it's like that decimal point there.
Or half.
The over-under, though, is a big difference in this with 50.5 points.
Mm-hmm.
As we all said last week, when the Packers are hot, they are so hot. They're
hot like Hans.
So hot. That Hans, he's so high right now. But the thing is,
good old Zoolander.
But can they go into someone else's home and continue to play as hot as they've been?
Well, they went into
the
level against the stadium, and they did it.
They did, but that's also the Cowboys, who are also choke artists.
I know. I'm just saying.
The Niners have been pretty solid for a long time.
They usually get to the NFC Championship game or the Super Bowl the last couple of seasons, it feels like. And it's funny because I hear a lot of people talking about, why don't the Niners get the same slack the Cowboys got? They haven't won anything in 30 years either. Yes, they haven't. It's 100% true. But they've at least gotten to the NFC Championship game multiple times and the Super Bowl one time in that 30 years.
Yes.
That's why they don't get shit like the Cowboy fans get. Just saying. It's not just Cowboy hate. It's because they just do suck.
Yeah. The Niners have been there. They've put up dominant teams. And then you're going to say who's better this year, the Niners or the Cowboys? You're going to say the Niners.
Yeah, easy. Already.
Like, that just beat that drum. The Niners averaged 28.9 points per game, second, and they only gave up 17.5 in a game, which is a third in the NFL this year. So
strong on both sides.
That is very solid.
Yeah.
They have a lot of talent on both sides.
Yep.
As with the Ravens, the Niners still do have a weakness. So let's talk about some of that.
Yep.
The Niners throw an interception on 2.44% of the passing attempts, which is 20th in the NFL. So they have to take advantage of any chances to get a turnover in this game. And if the Packers play like they did last week, and how they played the past 6 to 7 weeks, it's a high possibility.
Yeah, I mean, but turnovers sometimes can make or break a game for you.
How many turnovers did they get a pick six last week, and then two touchdowns off turnovers?
They got, like I said, they got 2 or 3 turnovers last week.
Yeah.
I know, so yeah, keep it up.
Yep. The defense also allowed 40.93 third down conversions, 24th, 50% of fourth downs, which is 16th in the NFL, and the red zone scoring is ranked 15th in the NFL. So if you get down there, the defense is pretty good at stopping it, but once you're down, get downfield.
Get down on it. Get down on it.
Get
what
in
you
there.
gonna do when you get to the red zone? You're gonna go into the end zone. There's so many zones.
Get in the zone.
Get down on it.
I was about to go to AutoZone for a second.
Oh gosh.
But this means the best options are to stay calm and just take over the defense. Take your time. You don't have to get a first down every play. Just keep third down conversions and manageable, and chances you have for success. It comes with getting those conversions, which Jordan Love. Jordan Love,
Yeah, Jordan Love, you had it right.
Yeah. I was about to say. I thought it said Julia Love for a second, but Jordan Love has played, especially the past 4 weeks. Great. Don't hurt me.
Anyway. Why do you went to a totally different song there?
I know. I totally went different.
What the hell?
Anyway, the Niners defense has also allowed 4.1 passing yards, which is 14th in NFL, which isn't horrible, but it's also a few stats that aren't elite in the defenses in this year. So, I mean, don't be surprised if Jordan Love puts up 300 yards against this elite defense. The way that their offensive line, the Packers' offensive line, has been playing the past 4 to 6 weeks, they have been very dominant in protecting Aaron Jones and Jordan Love.
Yes.
And if they could stop the pass rush and just the rush in itself, protect for the rush, I should say.
They could play a rush CD.
Yes. Green Bay could be in this game. Part of me want to go for the dark horse here and say that the Packers are going to win, but that's me betting with my heart and just being silly. I want to take the Niners to win this game, but the Packers are going to play this close, and I think it's going to be a shootout because I think both teams have the opportunity to go downfield and play very well. Jordan Love doesn't have as many weapons on offense, but if he plays like he did against the Cowboys last week and how he's had the past 4 weeks, he has spread the ball all over the place. Meanwhile, we all know the weapons that the Niners have.
Yeah, I don't know. Something about it tells me this is going to be a lower scoring game than people think. And I think it's partially because of the fact that 49ers just have a good defense. But, you said the big thing with them is this is not a team when you face the Niners that you try to get that first down on that first play. You dink, you dunk, you run, you get things going, you develop long drives, you tire out the defense, and then you score a touchdown. That's what you do. That's how you stop them. But it's easier said than done. If it was that simple, everybody would do it.
Yes.
So, I think that the big thing is they just have to go ahead and play loose, play not scared of this defense. But it's a very young team. I mean, listen, they're going to be flying high because they beat the Cowboys. It's so hard, though, as a young team to go in to another team stadium that has a lot of playoff success as a unit already and beat the crap out of them. Because let's be honest, if you talk to those guys in San Francisco, they will sit there and tell you they should have won the Super Bowl last year.
Yeah.
If they had a quarterback, they probably would have won against the Eagles. They'll tell you that. I'm not saying they're right or wrong. You can't go back and play that and see and find out.
So you can't do that, but
they will tell you they were the better team.
And they're probably not wrong.
Who knows? We'll never know. I like to think so because I hate the Eagles, but we'll never know. But yeah, I mean, I'm in the same as you except for the under. I got the Niners. I got the Packers to beat the spread, and I got the under. I just don't think it's going to be as a high scoring game for some reason. I just get that vibe. It's going to be that kind of game. It's going to be like a 21-17 kind of thing at that point. It's going to be close, I think. But I do think that in the end, it's going to be a lower scoring game than people think.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a slow start and a strong finish.
That's what she said.
So when it comes to halftime, you're going to be like, man, I'm right. But by the start of the fourth quarter, you're going to be like,
we'll see. The over-under is where my strong suit is.
Touché.
So we'll see. All right, let's pay the bills real quick, and then we got a couple comments from Connor and Deb. Let's go over them too real quick before we get going. The next two games, We're at the halfway point here. Let's go.
Enjoying the
Let's
show.
go.
Looking for more goofball action? Consider a membership at buymeacoffee.com/2giantgoofballs. Memberships start at just $5 and give you additional goofball access. One-time support payments also available starting at just $3. Buymeacoffee.com/2giantgoofballs.
All righty, let's get to the comments here. Connor, before we started, said TikTok, or tick, talk. Grab your cocks, grab your socks, and put it in a podcast. Get it in a podcast, motherfuckers. We were a couple minutes late there. Someone is on a certain time his family's known for. I'll put it that way. Someone, I'm not gonna name names.
I was on. I think just like the gab before the show.
Yeah, you were on at 9:03.
Oh no, we started at 9:03. I was on at 9 o'clock sharp.
You were
Military.
not. That's the problem, man. Your clocks are wrong, okay? First off, it's Coughlin time. If you're not 5 minutes early, you're late.
What about Dable time?
Nope. Dable time is he just yells at you through the headset.
Don't do that.
Connor says, I'm back. Finished Star Trek 6, General Chang. Can you see me, Kirk? I can see you, Chang. I'm constant as the Northern Star, Dr. McCoy. I'd give real money if he'd shut up. Honestly, I haven't watched all the Star Trek movies.
Wait, there's the sixth one? I thought they stopped at the fifth, and then it came to Next Generation.
There are so many different movies, it's not even funny. It's insanity. How many do they have? But yeah, there are just a ton of them. Let's see. Then Deb says, didn't Ravens have a new OC this year? Maybe that helped Lamar Jackson. Yeah, Greg Roman was the previous one. Todd Monken is now the current one. And yeah, if you talk to Ravens fans, they hated Greg Roman. They blamed him for a lot of the issues on the offense. In fact, last year, we spoke to Kevin Ostreicher of the Lockdown Ravens podcast before we played the Ravens. He went ahead and basically was like point blank, like, this guy's got to go. And the season wasn't even over. They were playing good.
Yeah, that was crazy.
It's been a consistent thing. They've wanted him gone for quite a while now. So yeah. Next up, let's see here.
Be right back.
Connor says, speaking of Lamar Jackson, so tired of Stephen A. Smith always bringing up his race and saying he has to win a Super Bowl because he's black. Doug Williams won Super Bowl 22 with 4 TDs. Yeah, but that's one guy. I mean, you got Patrick Mahomes as well. I mean, I'll put it this way. I don't keep track necessarily of how many quarterbacks of different races win, but let's be honest and say there's definitely been an issue with race and the QB position specifically in the NFL. I mean, other race issues in the NFL as well, don't get me wrong, but that one specifically, I mean, Warren Moon had to go play in freaking Canada and get a shot to play as a quarterback in the NFL. So, I mean, even Lamar Jackson, when he came out of the draft, people were talking about converting him to a wide receiver. So there's definitely an issue. I'm not saying Stephen A. Smith's right. I didn't hear his exact comments, but there's definitely an issue. See, he also says he needs to win with kegs too to prove running black quarterback wins. What? Kegs? Legs? Is that what you're talking about? Smack my head. So tired of that guy. Loud mouth. I like him. But then he goes back to race. You know, I says over here, I'm like Morgan Freeman. Stop using colors. You're you. I'm me. Want to get rid of race issues. Stop bringing it up. He says makes sense to me. Listen, Connor. I'll put it this way, man. I'm a white guy. Obviously, you see me on video here. I don't want to be the guy to say anything too much on race issues because, quite frankly, as a white guy, I don't deal with race issues. It's not fair for me to be the one to make the statement on this stuff, you know? But I don't think you just get rid of it, the obvious issues that are in this country as a whole, by just ignoring them and just saying they don't exist. They definitely exist. I mean, to what degree? Again, I'm not black. It's not my place to say. I don't want to speak for another group. They are perfectly well able to speak for themselves. So, but I'm happy to support, you know, full equality in this country. But again, it's not me and Rob's place to say. We're white guys. We can't speak in that kind of stuff because we don't deal with discrimination. Let's be honest. We're younger white males. Everyone listens to us. Remember that thing in The Simpsons? He did that. It was like Grandpa was like, "I'm too old. No one listens to me." And like,
yes.
Lisa was like, "I'm a little girl. No one listens to me." And then Homer comes in. "I'm a middle-aged white man. Everyone listens to me." And it was a joke because he's the idiot. He's the last person you should listen to. And we're a goofball, so obviously it's the same for us, you know. But that's just unfortunately the way the world works right now, at least in this country. So, you know, again, not our place to say as far as that kind of stuff. I'll let people actually deal with the issues, bring them up, and be the ones to be there to support where we can to have true equality. Connor says, you know where it's cold? In the freezer. Yes, that would be a cold place, I would imagine.
You can spice things up in the freezer. I'm just saying.
Usually it's below freezing in the freezer. Gail says we're the only team to win the Super Bowl in the 80s, 90s, 2000s, as far as I remember. Close to, I think, Pittsburgh 70s, 80s, 90s, but they lost in the 90s. Yeah, that was the Neil O'Donnell one that Steelers lost to the Cowboys in the 90s. So it's not just that. We're the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s, and the 2010s. We got to win one this decade to keep the streak going. We do.
It'll be a pretty impressive streak.
Yeah. Connor says, well, Bill didn't go Cow Pukes. Hope he doesn't go Eagles. Tired of everybody coming to the AFC East. Was worried Tomlin might come to Washington, but he's staying at Pittsburgh, supposedly. Yeah, he's staying to Pittsburgh. I knew he would. I still think Sirianni's going to stay in Philadelphia as well. It is official. He said it. He said it, and they expect to sign an extension.
Oh, okay. And even an extension, too. Okay.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's Tomlin. Keep him.
Yeah.
It's stupid if you get rid of him. But even Sirianni, I don't see him leaving either. I mean, you take the collapse, he's had a great run with them if you want to look objectively at it.
Well, the thing is, you could turn around and say, look at Doug Peterson. Because they were talking about firing him pretty much at almost the same time. And he won the Super Bowl accidentally with the backup
quarterback. He didn't mean to.
Yeah. Well,
but then on top of that, though, they fire him, and then he goes on to be a coach now in Jacksonville, and Jacksonville's a good team again. I wouldn't say a great team because they're still not over the hump yet, but they're a good team. Jacksonville's not the automatic win they were a couple years ago.
I mean, it's in a terrible division that's got pretty spicy the past couple of years. I wouldn't say so spicy. They we're just talked about CJ Stroud and then Houston. Like, look how fast that organization turned around. And
wait till Anthony Richardson comes back next year with the Colts too, assuming he actually stays healthy.
That's what I'm saying. Look, the Colts were like pretty solid this year. They're about to make the playoffs. And like Tennessee, granted,
Tennessee
when they are now, they flopped around. But like when Doug Peterson came down there, like what was it, last year they won the division in a pretty solid manner?
Which one?
2 years ago.
The Titans? Two years ago. Yeah.
2 years ago.
The Jacksonville Jaguars won it last year.
Yeah, you're right.
The Tennessee Titans lost like 7 games in a row last year. That's what happened.
That's right. They fell. That was a big. Yeah.
Exactly.
And that's why favorite was gone this year.
All right. Let's see here. Deb says Packers have done well picking franchise QBs 3 in a row now. Yeah, I mean, that's amazing. And
they might be the best in the NFL with that.
I do think a good part of it, again, is the fact that they are letting them sit, letting them learn, letting them fix things they want to fix before they even go out there. 100%. Not to mention the fact that whether they get along or not, they've had a chance to learn from Hall of Fame quarterbacks. You know, Brett Favre did not get along with Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers did not get along with Jordan Love.
Or is it the other way around?
What?
Is it Jordan Love didn't get along with Aaron Rodgers, and is Aaron Rodgers didn't get along with Brett Favre?
Either way, neither of the duos got along. It wasn't like they were sitting there buddy. It wasn't like Eli and Daniel Jones, where Eli was like, let me take this kid under my wing. Those guys are both like, it's not my job to train him. It's kind of like when you get hired at a job and you get thrown, hey, you're going to train him, right? Yeah, I'll do that. Yeah, you go over there.
Yeah, you just sit in the corner.
Yeah. It's just they didn't want to deal with it, either one of them. But you still got to watch what they were doing and learn from how they did it. And that's still something.
Listen, even if your mentor's, a dick and you don't get along, but if you're like, yo, why did you do that? Like, it's easy, kid, because this and this and this. You still learn from that.
That conversation wasn't even having necessarily, but it was the coach asking him that in the film room, probably.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, even still, like, if you could ask the questions like, why I did this and this and this, like, you still learn, even though it's not the best situation to learn, but you still put it together.
Yeah. Let's see. Connor says, that's why I brought up Morgan Freeman, because he was talking to Mike Wallace. He said, how do we stop racism? Morgan said, stop talking about it. I'm Morgan Freeman. You're Mike Wallace. That's how you end it.
He also, Morgan Freeman also was famously quoted, I want to say like 10 or 15 years ago, about Black History Month. And he just thought it's like, every month is Black History Month. It's like I don't need a month to remember my culture.
But see,
So-
here's my thing on this, and I don't want to get too much into social issues. We're a football podcast. I want to stick to being a football podcast. But if we stop talking about it, hypothetically, Connor, does that stop people that are currently racist from that all of a sudden change their mind? It doesn't.
No,
You have to have protections in place from bad people. That's life.
Yes, and you need good speech. That's like Dr. King was very, very intellectual. He is a great speaker. I mean,
Yes.
he was a minister and a priest, but
I got a lot of stuff done.
And good speech
Before and
goes a
after his
long
life.
way.
And-
Yeah.
But again, I'm just saying, to me, you don't talk about it. How does that stop anything? What does that stop? If anything, that allows people to feel more comfortable because no one's going to talk about it when they say things that are bad and do things that are bad. That's life right now. Again, love it or hate it, and I hope most of you hate it, if not all of you hate it. Racism is legit in this country. You can't just get rid of it by saying it doesn't exist or by not talking about it. I'll never understand that
but let's get off this subject because
we're going back to football. Back to football. Where Connor gets us in trouble with somebody.
Yeah.
It's all Connor's fault. Back to football. John says Mahomes versus Stroud. NFL ratings will skyrocket for the AFC Championship week. I actually think Lamar Jackson versus Mahomes is probably the better draw. I'm not sure if Stroud has that kind of abilities yet, but I'll say this: if he does next year, repeat this, and he could easily become that kind of draw. I just don't think he has it quite yet because he's a rookie.
But that could be also the draw. But I mean, we'll talk about this. There probably won't be any of those quarterbacks in that AFC Championship. Too soon.
Yeah, very good possibility, that's for sure. Let's see. Connor says, was expecting such a shakeup, all these head coaches out, and so far it's boring. Listen, once the first shoe drops, everybody else got to quickly put a shoe on before they don't have a shoe.
Yeah.
That's what's going to happen. The first guy gets hired, and all of a sudden we're like, okay, hold on. Who do we like so far? We got to get somebody quick before they get taken by somebody else now. That's what happens. The first shoe to drop may very well be Belichick to Atlanta the way they're talking, but we'll see. I still think that's not the right move for him.
No.
I still think the Chargers.
I was going to say, I've been beating that drum for 2 months now.
Yeah, both have. Get the Chargers.
Bill Belichick in a Hawaiian shirt with a coconut. Yo, bro, coming into press conferences with a surfboard. Fantastic.
Yeah. Connor says, I've heard Irsay was found unconscious, maybe drugs, and they said flu, but they used Narcan on him. That's what this needs for overdose. I know there was a TMZ article about it. They found him unconscious and everything in his house from an overdose. But yeah, he's had issues. He's had issues forever, that guy. That guy's had drug issues, alcohol issues, every kind of issues you can possibly think about forever, basically. So, yeah. So,
yeah, I don't know too much. So I don't have a comment because I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know much in his life as far as if he was just a young and rich kid that partied too much and got developed issues, or if something sad happened in his life, he developed issues, or who knows. But whatever it is,
that incident, I just don't know. So
yeah,
I mean,
all I know is I hope he gets better, and I hope if he does have a problem, that gets better over time. But again, he's been known to have problems with substance abuse for quite a while, so it doesn't sound like it's getting better based on that. And then Connor's got a couple more comments, but Connor, we're done with that topic. We're done. Next up, let's get into the next game here.
Oh yeah,
we got the Sunday games now. First up, we have the Buccaneers versus the Lions. And yeah, by the way, did you see the video where somebody actually had the audacity to ask the Buccaneers head coach Todd Bowles if he thought the weather would be an issue playing in Detroit?
Oh yeah. It was a lady reporter. It went viral.
Oh, I hate the fact there's a woman one too, because everybody's commenting the fact that it's a woman now, and it's like,
Yeah.
they're like, she set back with female sports writers 10 years, and I'm like, it's a shame because honestly, it sounds like whoever it was, and I've been trying to find out who it was, and I can't find it out. So if anybody knows, feel free to put it in the comments section. It sounds like what happened is probably some local newspaper, TV station went ahead and put her in there just because they had to have somebody to go in there because it's the playoffs. They probably don't cover football on a regular basis.
Yeah.
People don't realize that there's a lot more media in there once you get the playoff time. But yeah, obviously the Lions have played in a dome since the year 1975 with the Silver Dome before the now Ford Field now. So yeah, they've it's been quite a fun one there. I was like, wait, what? The first time I heard of that.
Yeah, I saw it on Instagram this morning.
Yeah.
I think I saw
He
it.
was like, since all I have to do is get off the bus and go into the stadium, and that's the only outside we're do, I think we'll be fine. But yeah, I mean, this is basically a battle of a great offense versus a great defense, and an average defense versus a below average defense. A lot of people will take away things from the game against the Eagles, and I warn you guys not to do that, because anything you think you learned about the Bucs by when they play the Eagles was more of a statement about Philadelphia and how bad they are right now than anything about how good Tampa is, because Tampa does not score that many points, guys.
They scored 9 against Carolina the week prior.
Again, I live in the Tampa Bay area. I do have friends that cover the Bucs, so I do watch
North Carolina.
But I do have friends that cover them, so I do watch their programming at that point to support them at that point. So I have a decent amount of knowledge on the Bucs as a whole. And I'm telling you right now, they're not that good an offense. That's not what they do. They score like 20 points a game, not 30. They're not as bad an offense as we are, but they're not nearly as good as they look there. So it's a matter of basically this game shouldn't be close. Let's be honest here. You're putting a 12-5 team against a 9-8 team. So you're putting an elite team against an average team. An average team that's only average because they played Carolina twice, New Orleans twice, Atlanta twice.
Yeah, and let's be real. Like, you just said, a 12-win team. It should have had 13, maybe more this year. Definitely 13 against the Cowboys.
Yeah. Now,
but
you want to hear what's a really big slap in the face. We talked about the first two games here being 9.5-point spreads. This one is just 6.5 points being given to the Bucs. That's a slap in the face to the Lions there. Slap in the face of the Lions. Because the Bucs are by far the worst team left in the NFL. It's not even close, guys.
In the playoffs, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Left in the NFL is still playing.
Okay, I didn't hear it still playing.
Yeah, that's what I mean. There's 8 teams left. They are number 8.
I mean, Baker threw over 300 last week, and then
against the Eagles.
Yes, who have been awful, and then did not do that against Carolina the week prior.
Was it 9-0 they won?
Yes,
against the worst team in all of football.
Granted, it's divisional, but still the worst team in football.
Yeah,
and then I think he threw 301, maybe twice this past season.
I'm saying they're not that good. I'm telling you, and their offense is not difficult to shut down. It sounds easier on paper than what it actually is in real life there. But just stop Mike Evans and stop Chris Godwin, you're good. All he does is throw to those 2 wide receivers. That's like half. It's more than half his yards to those 2 guys.
And then Rice, I mean, he was an underrated running back this year, but he's not fantastic. I mean, if anyone playing fantasy, he was a top 10 running back, but he's not. He's a guy that gets you. He's a boomer bust. This is a game like they'll probably run him 20 times and he gets you 50 yards.
So I mean Rashid White.
Yeah, I said Rice White.
Rashard White. I'm saying it wrong now too. I'm trying to say. Yeah, I mean he's a decent running back. They just used him a lot because we don't have that much of a passing offense. What it boils down to, their offensive line is not that good. It's not a good offense, guys. It's not. What they are is a great blitzing team. And if you look, Jared Goff is very good against the blitz. He's not the guy that gets rattled. So it's going to be a rough outing, I think, all around for the Bucs. I got the Lions to win. I got them to beat the spread, and I have the under in the points because I really think this is going to be a blowout game, and it's going to be like a 30-10 kind of game.
Yeah, I'm with you most of the way here. My thing is Dan Campbell. He's a honey badger of all the NFL coaches. He straight up don't give a fuck. He just don't care. He is just gonna beat down on this team, and I took the over. I think the Bucs are just gonna put up enough, and Campbell's not gonna let off the gas, and Goff's gonna prove a point to everyone's like, hey, I belong in a playoff divisional, Super Bowl caliber team. And he's going to go for it.
Are you suggesting there might be a Campbell Super Bowl?
Oh, yeah. Definitely not Chunkies.
The jokes will write themselves if that happens. But like I said, to me, this is an easy one. So next up, one last game here, guys. One last game.
Which might be the best game of the week, possibly. Best game of the playoffs.
It's my second favorite matchup in this game, and this weekend. I'm still the Ravens and Texans, still number one for me. This is number two. It's a close two, but it's there.
I think this one edges out for me. You got the Chiefs going into Buffalo. The big talk this past weekend is them Chiefs. They got to play away from Arrowhead Stadium. Patrick Mahomes, he's out of his element. He's always dominated, been in top seed, this and that, and he's got to be out of playoffs on the road. It's craziness. And against the Bills, who they've played each other fantastic, these teams are 3-3 against each other since Mahomes and Allen have taken over the league, and they've played each other. This is to me, this is the modern day, one of the best rivals that is not a divisional rival. The Bills won the matchup last month, 20-17. The Bills have won the last 6 games, including the last week against the Steelers. Prior, they were 6-6. They have been so red hot. They've been hotter than Hansel, and he's so hot. To go with that, and Gretel. The Bills are 7-1 since they fired their OC, Ken Dorsey. I don't know what he was doing, but they forgot they had a running back. And now it's in the playoffs. They forgot they had a running back, and Josh Allen's been going bonkers. Playoffs. The Chiefs made mental mistakes all year long that continued last week. And it's going to continue this week against the Bills. I think, granted, last week they put a good performance against a terrible team in a very cold stadium in Arrowhead. It's been crazy. I think it's going to be a fun, cold matchup for the Chiefs against these two teams that just thrive normally in the playoffs in the cold.
And they always play each other close. They always do.
They do.
But I can't get past how good the Bills are playing right now. I mean, literally, they were 6-6. Fire their OC and then go 7-1.
Yeah, it just tells you I don't understand what he was trying to do with that offense.
Something got fixed, which is why I don't want Ken Dorsey anywhere near the Giants, guys.
Yeah, keep him away.
I know Dable and him are buddies, and I know if Caffey gets a head coaching job, which would be crazy, I would never give that guy a head coaching job off this past offensive season. But I don't want Ken Dorsey. I want nothing to do with Ken Dorsey. He needs to go somewhere else.
Out of the New York area.
Yeah. Or you can go to the Jets. I don't care.
That's fine. Yeah. I'm sure Aaron Rodgers will love him.
Exactly.
Hey, Aaron Rodgers, we got this crazy idea. Don't throw the ball.
Aaron Rodgers, I can't win with this guy. Trade me. Gets traded. I need him over here.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's what he did with his wide receivers.
That's it. It's what we did with Lazar.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I love this game. I can't wait to watch this game. This is my matchup for the week. And granted, like, before I give my picks, because I'm leaving everyone suspense here. Like, we talked about which matchups we want to see. This is the one I've been waiting for. And I think the Niners and Packers edge it out for me because I'm excited to see what the Packers could do against that defense. And it's probably the Ravens and then the Lions, because I think the Lions just gotta put a stop, and they're gonna berate. They're gonna, we'll say, slam them away. They're gonna just kick their butts. They're gonna pounce on them.
Here's the big question with this Chiefs and Bills game. How will Kadarius Toney fuck it up for the Chiefs?
Oh, he'll throw an interception.
I really want him to be offsides again or something. I really want it.
He's going to do a lateral pass.
I think it'd be freaking hilarious.
It's going to come down to the last moment. It's going to do a lateral pass. Whoops. Before a lateral. But yeah, I'm taking the Bills to win this game. Whoops. And then that 2.5 points, it's a little saucy. They play each other close, and I'm still gonna have to go with the Bills. But I wouldn't be surprised if I'm wrong in that spread and the Chiefs just lose by 1 in this game. That's how close I think, and that's how they play each other, very close like that.
Yeah.
And I'm taking the under in this game because it's going to be, once again, it's going to be in Buffalo. We're getting a nice cold front coming in for the weekend. We're getting a whole bunch of snow, and we're in a winter advisory going into tomorrow, and it's supposed to be another chilly, cold weekend.
Brr.
That's what the Chiefs said.
Yeah, I'm with you.
What does the Chiefs say?
I'm with you 100. Okay.
What does the fox say?
Pow, 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 pow. But yeah, I did that song in karaoke a couple of times. It's fun. I should do karaoke.
Just to annoy everyone there.
Oh yes. But okay, I'm with you 100% what you're saying though. Chiefs are. I think this is where the end. It's just they've made too many mistakes, and their offense hasn't been quite right this year for me. And I think it's going to be the Bills. I think the Bills will cover the spread only because it's so small. They'll probably only win by 3 points. But a field goal to separate the two teams. And I'm with you on the under, and it's mostly because they're going to be playing up in Buffalo, and it's going to be cold. And it's going to be harder to score points. So, yeah. And again, two really good defenses, I should say. People want to talk about the offenses. We talk about the quarterbacks. Both defenses are the strong suit of their teams.
Now, the one thing I do have to bring back, because especially as we agree on this, I do know a few of the guys in Buffalo didn't practice earlier this week, but they were limited practice this week on their defense. Keep that in mind if you're going to bet this game. If you want to do the over under, I'm still going Bills, and the other.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's to me it's a no brainer. I'm 100% there. So, yeah.
But just because I think they're going to win and they're going to do well doesn't mean it's going to be an exciting back and forth game.
Oh, it's always exciting.
Yeah.
All right, so we got a couple more comments here. Let's go over those real quick, and then we'll get on out of here. So, let's see here. Connor says Bills probably wants at because the division is so easy. Like when the Patriots roll the AFC East.
Oh no, he probably wants Atlanta. Bill Belichick probably wants Atlanta.
Oh, Bill probably wants. I thought okay.
Yeah,
I misread that because there was no L for the ATL. That's what it was. No, yeah. Yeah. Oh, he said it here I meant Atlanta Falcons job because that division is easy. Yeah, I mean it is. It is. My dad says it must be cold down there, probably because I'm wearing a hoodie. But that's only because of the fact that I have a non-podcast appropriate shirt underneath, so I just threw a hoodie on real quick. May have had some foul language or something.
I said butt.
Yes, exactly what I said. Connor says, I bet Bucks beat Lions by 3 to 5 points. Well, then put your money where your mouth is. Put some money on the game,
Yeah.
Connor. Connor says, if Bills don't beat Chiefs and win and go to the Super Bowl and win, they never will win. We talked about at the beginning of the year. Rob and I were kind of like going, hey, maybe is the window passed for the Bills? That window's got to close for them soon. You can't keep going to the playoffs and being an elite team in the conference year after year and not eventually slip off that. Not in the world of free agency. So we'll see when that does happen. But and for them slipping, will probably barely make the playoffs, barely miss the playoffs, that kind of thing. They still have a good quarterback. They'll never be bad.
Listen, Bills definitely have a very good opportunity to win the Super Bowl this year. Not saying they're going to, but they have a very good opportunity. The way they've been playing, they got hot at the right
AFC's
moment.
wide open.
Yeah.
AFC is wide open, guys. Anybody that's in this still can win. It's not crazy to say that. Anybody that's still in the AFC right now is a chance to win. Now, at the same point, I would say Lions or Niners, and that's it for the NFC. That's my personal opinion.
I would have cut out the
That's
Packers.
what I think that happened in the NFC Championship game. So do you?
Yeah, I mean, that's.
I wouldn't cut them out, but I'd say it's unlikely.
Yes,
it'd be a shock. I'm not saying it'd be like a deadly shock, but
I wouldn't be like, oh my god, I'm having a heart attack. I would
the more shock would be if the Bucks won, obviously.
Yes, exactly. I would have like, I should have picked the Packers to win.
The Bucks. See, Jeb says, what the hell is going on with Kelsey? He can't catch. So,
that Kelsey, yeah.
Here's the crazy thing. Kelsey has always had issues catching the ball. Yeah, he's always had issues catching the ball. He actually has a career percentage of 71.6% catch percentage. I saw the question ahead of time, so I looked it up to verify where he's at. Because I didn't think it was that bad this year, technically. He's had 4 seasons so far under that 70% mark even. Last year, he was at 76.9. Actually, this year, I should say. He was at 76.9. So not that bad. He just had a couple of bad games. Because, like, in the win against, let's see here. In the win here against Miami, his catch was 70%. He's had a couple bad games. But, I mean, honestly, it's not that bad. I think he's just missed some big catches in some big moments, and it makes it look worse than what he is.
Yes,
but
I mean,
I'll take a guy who's going to get me 1,000 yards in the tight end position for the 10 years straight in a row he has, though.
Also, thinking about it this way, the Chiefs, especially the past 5 years since Mahomes has really come up, they've had pretty damn good receivers every year, except this year. So, and Kelsey has always been their number one, quote unquote. But there's been a lot of Robins next to him. He doesn't have really anyone next to him until like later in the year. It was Rashid Rice, which I was confusing with the running back.
There's the Rice guy.
Yeah. He stepped up the past month or so, but it's been all on Kelsey's shoulders. And guess what happens when everyone knows that this tight end that gets 1,000 yards every time he's in every season, and there's no one else to throw to. They're all just talking on him. So he still gets open, and he does what he does on average. He drops the ball about 25 to 30% of the time. And there's big opportunities where they need him to make that catch, and they're not ahead because they don't have the other receivers behind them to make those catches.
And his yards per game is actually still close to where it was for most of his career.
Yeah.
It's 65.6 with 2 games being missed there at that point there. So, keep in mind he got hurt in other games, didn't play the complete games. It's about where it should be there. So, like I said, I'm not too worried about him in the long run, even though he's 34 years old and eventually he's going to end up shutting it down, obviously in a couple of years. But for right now, he's still probably the best tight end in the entire league.
Hands down.
Let's see. Connor says he can't catch, but supposedly he plays better when Swifty is there. So tired of her too. Okay, we get it. She's there. No one cares. Play football. This isn't VH1 or MTV. I think they show her too often, Connor. But in the end, she's bringing a whole bunch of group of people to a sport that hasn't had that group of people before, and the NFL is going to play that up because that's called marketing.
Yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying, kind of like they definitely show her way too much. But if you show her walking in, once a quarter, twice a quarter, it's one thing. But every time that like Kelsey's sitting up there in the lineup, and they go up to Taylor Swift, like,
it's too often.
It is a little, it's a little too much. But
like I said,
but you're right. It is a new market. How much Kelsey jerseys have been sold this year? Now that it was a Kelsey jacket, it was a new thing that all the girls were buying last week.
Well, that's because of what's his name, the fullback from the Niners. His wife is actually the one that designed that. So she's a food I said clothing designer, and she makes those and has made them for a lot of different people before, but her business is inundated right now because of that. So I mean, that's the kind of star power that Taylor Swift has. Love it or hate it. I don't get it. I don't understand it. I'm not a big fan of her music. But hell, if it popularizes the sport, it's not bad for any of us.
So in other words, kind of shake it off. Shake it off.
Let's see. Connor says it'd be crazy if the Bucs or Lions won. The Bucs, especially the Bucs one, I'd be really shocked. My dad says the Lions play much better at home than on the road. Two QBs have a lot to prove in the AFC. Josh Lamar have to prove they can win in the playoffs. Yeah, like we said, that to me is one of the biggest issues that Lamar Jackson has to go ahead and defeat for him to be considered an elite quarterback in this league. And I think that's the one thing that stopped people from. Listen, there's a lot of teams right now kicking themselves in the you-know-what for not taking him last year in free agency when he was begging someone else to give him a contract. Begging. And they wouldn't do it. Let's see. JJ says, Giants draft Xavier Legette. I had him as a second-round pick potential, and I like him because he's got some size to him. Which is what I think we're missing in our wide receiver room. We have just, skinny guys, fast guys, slot guys. Short that's guys. The kind of stuff we have. We don't have a big guy. He'd be a decent sized guy. So yeah, he's definitely been, I think, a couple of our draft mocks that we've done already too. So, but yeah, we'll probably be talking about him later on. We talk about all the different receivers coming out this year. There's a lot of receivers coming out. So, all right, guys. Well, we're going to call it a night here. We got, of course, a post-game coverage coming for you Monday. Yep. So keep an eye out for that. Then, of course, on Wednesday, we're going to have our regular program there as well. We're going to be doing this week redrafting the 2023 draft. If we knew then what we know now, what would we do different?
Dun, dun, dun.
Oh, yes. There'll be a lot of changes, guys. A lot of changes. Trust me. First off, Puka. I'll just say that one off the back, because I think anybody who's redoing that draft is taking Puka Nacua when they can. That's not even a surprise.
Yeah, they would definitely draft up for that guy big time.
Yeah. No, you don't have to.
He was there. What round did you get that guy in? Oh, he should have went 2 rounds ahead.
He should have been a first-round pick, but that's a whole separate issue. But yeah, so we'll do that for you guys on Wednesday, and then Thursday we're going to be going into our, our championship round here, giving preview guys for the AFC and NFC championship games, and of course, then after that we'll keep going around. We're going around every single Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern, live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram. Of course, Rob's favorite,
Drew's LinkedIn page.
Oh, yes, my LinkedIn. And, of course, we're available the next day on audio podcast platforms everywhere, including Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon, Google Podcasts, all the fun ones there. So appreciate you guys listening. We will see you guys again on Monday. If you haven't already,
Monday.
Hit the subscribe. That's how people know that you like us. Yes, that's how. So let them know that you like us by hitting that subscribe.
Buttons.
Yes. If you're on Apple Podcasts, leave us a review as well. That's a nice way of saying thank you as well. So we'll see you guys on Monday. And as always, Giant fans,
Go Dream
Dream
Thanks for listening to Two Giant Goofballs, a New York Giants podcast. We appreciate your support. If you made it this long, you must have enjoyed it. So I am sure you have followed us on all the social media platforms. Of course, you have subscribed to the show on your favorite app as well and given us a top rating. Right? Right? Right?
Thank you to those who have signed up for our silver gold levels of membership at buymeacoffee.com/2giantgoofballs.